Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Definitely appreciate you clicking in and viewing this presentation that we're putting together. Today, we're going to be covering IBM's Watson X Assistant. You may have viewed previous Watson Assistant um, demos from this channel before. Over the last year, IBM has decided to rebrand Watson Assistant to Watson X Assistant. IBM has this new software, watsonx, watsonx.ai, .data, .governance, and Orchestrate. There's a bunch of them. So over the last year, they've been infusing quite a bit of their generative AI technologies, as every organization is now, into their products. And one of them is Watson X Assistant. Now, to be fair, they've had generative AI capabilities within the product before. However, now it's more almost in your face, right? Like everything is of Gen AI nowadays. So what I'm going to go over today is the assistant, how to set up a so what is an assistant, right? So I'm going to review and go over how to set up a chatbot. Not only can this chatbot be used in a website, it could be used on your mobile app, it could be used as an SMS, it could be in Facebook Messenger, in Slack, in WhatsApp. I don't use WhatsApp, but you could be using WhatsApp and a few other ones, right? But what I'm going to review today is just placing it on a website. Now, moving forward, I'll try and touch on the different channels that we could place this in, but we will be talking through just what it is, a web assistant today. So let's go ahead and turn to our demo, our presentation, and we're going to first go to our cloud.ibm.com account. So let's go ahead and change to that. One second. All right. So here we go. Here we are at the. Let me move over the screen so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So here we have our homepage here for our cloud.ibm account, right? And I've obviously I work at IBM. I'm able to input my email right there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to continue. It's going to log me in. Takes just a minute or so. For those of you who don't have um, a cloud.ibm account, it's pretty simple. Cloud.ibm.com. I'm going to show you the screen that comes up here. Sign in, forgot, remember, continue, don't, you know, required only. There you go. So you would enter your email here and, you would create an account. So simply create an account. You start there, no big deal, and you're ready to go. So once you pass those steps, takes about 2-3 minutes. Then it'll bring you to the login page, which is right here. Um, this is the IBM Cloud homepage. I have different accounts available here, and I can manage it. There's also a catalog that I have access to, a few other items, nothing atypical from a website. But on the left-hand side, we have here um, some different areas that we're going to go to. You know, there's a dashboard. I'm going to click on it. That's where we're at here. The hamburger menu, there's a resource list, there's projects, and uh, uh, working on IBM Cloud is like working with with AWS or the Google Cloud platform or Azure, right? And there's so many items that you could go ahead and work through and stage and set up. API management. There's DevOps. Um, what else is there? There's blockchain. And of course, there's OpenShift. You're all familiar with OpenShift or Kubernetes. And of course, VMware, you could stand up VMs if you need to. But we are actually not going to do many of that. Feel free for you all to explore that up. But I'm going to click on a resource list here. So on the resource list, our Watson X Assistant is really under the AI machine learning. You could see here that I have 5 demo environments here, and I'm going to set up another one. So I'm going to create a resource. And I'm going to search the catalog here under Watson Assistant. watsonx Assistant. There you go. Click location. There's several locations here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at Dallas. That's closest one. I'm working out of Austin, so that's kind of close. Kind of close. And I'm going to give this a name, right? Watson X Assistant on YouTube demo. No, it's more like a presentation, right? Presentation. You could give it a tag, YouTube. Okay, select here. Now, uh, granted, there's a few different plans available to you. The one we're going to be using is a free one. There's also a trial version because the free one allows you to keep the assistant up and running past the 30-day. The trial, which is this is actually the upgraded. You'll see that we could upgrade from light to actually plus. Plus is actually free for 30 days, but it's actually this. Um, you'll notice here it's $140 per instance, and there's other pricing items there. But you get along with all this additional information, additional capabilities from our light plan. But we're going to go with a light run right now. We don't need to upgrade. So we're going to click create. Takes a bit to instantiate, not too long. We'll wait here. Okay, this is actually kind of neat. So here we have our service credentials. I like to download them. I could show you the creds here. I'm actually going to delete this environment right after I'm done. So, um, you know, copy them here, whatever. Here's the public API. You could download them. I download them. So now that they're the IBM creds that I have here in my environment. I'm not going to be upgrading, but I'm going to continue this. So let's go ahead and launch our Watson Assistant. You're going to find that going from zero to a stood up environment is pretty quick. Now, when I first learned Watson Assistant, um, I actually learned it the old fashioned way, where we had intense entities and slots, which, if you're not familiar with them, they were a little bit challenging to understand. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in that because setting up by actions, it's so much easier and so much quicker, right? So let's start up by creating our first assistant. And you know what? Why not make a banking bot, banking body? Now, I would always suggest to add some kind of description because if you're working or co creating with another um, colleague or perhaps a customer, and you may have six, seven, eight of these deployed, or you're working on maybe another 12, whatnot. It description is definitely helpful. So set up this. There you go. Now, the nice thing about this is that you could actually have it in several different languages. Spanish, Korean, Italian. Um, I've done Spanish bots before. I've also done Chinese traditional and Vietnamese. Now, let me see here. I guess they don't have it here. But I'm going to leave it in English because that's what we're going to be doing today. Click on next. Now, select the deployment choice to see what your customers experience. Okay, so on the left-hand side here, we're going to select what we're going to be doing. Now, earlier I mentioned what type of channel we were going to be working on, right? So we are going to be doing a web, and this is actually a web assistant right there. SMS, you'll notice that changes, Slack, Facebook Messenger, which is kind of neat. WhatsApp, other. I have no idea what other means, but it's more of a customized solution. I'm not sure. Gives you the ability to select what you want later on. I'm pretty confident there's going to be a web, so we're going to select web. Tell us about, I think I call it a banking bot, right? So there's a few areas here. Feel free to click not available. I am a student, but let's click on banking. Now, selecting these actually um, helps to identify what your experience will be, right? If you don't know, click on other, you know. But as this is just a demo, and I'm going to click banking. Let's choose an option here. What am I? Am I a designer, content strategy developer? I think I'm going to put a developer. What happens if I put other? Oh, it gives me what am I? A marketer. Project manager. I'm a developer here. Choose an option. What do I want? I want to provide confident answers to common questions. I want to automate. Okay. I want to make my customers to find what they're looking for in my app. Nope, not app. Want to qualify leads? Sure. I'm using the product to complete a course. Probably that might be the best to play around with. But I'm going to provide confident. I want to automate tasks in a natural way. Sure. So natural way sounds like natural understanding, right? So just keep that in mind for those of you that are into AI and ML, right? Let's click on next. We could customize our user interface. Um, let's call it banking body. Banking body. Now, of those of y'all who are familiar with IBM, IBM developed something called the Carbon method. It's just the way IBM designs our software. You'll notice here that it looks very similar. Actually, all the GUIs look super similar with the Carbon. I think we're on Carbon 11 or Carbon 12. But let's click standard for virtual agents and customer support experiences. You'll notice that I could change light, dark. Earlier I did light. Let's do dark today. Change the accent colors. Now, IBM watermark. You could always remove this watermark by upgrading to the plus, which means you have to pay, right? Streaming, I don't know what that is necessarily right off the bat, but I'm going to leave that toggled off. Click on next. I could click and I could share the um, assistant with someone, right? There you go. Let's click on, oh, 1 second here. Um, I don't know. IBM. All right, let's click on IBM. Let's go back to our assistant, close these two real quick here. Let's change the background. Enter URL. You could upload an image. I'm going to enter a URL. Click continue. Here it is. This is really neat. So if you're presenting with a your image is loading, feel free to continue using Watson. There you go. So you notice that they pulled in actually the IBM website. Kind of neat, right? Bank body. This is what it'll look like. Let's go ahead and click create. Congratulations, we're good to go. All right, so there, because this is our first assistant, we could actually go through and learn a bit more here. We're not going to take a tour; we're going to hide that. But at your own leisure, you could click on take the tour, which will be helpful for those of you that are using this software for the first time. You could also start by clicking and going through this I guess starter page, if you will, but we're going to jump right into designing the bot. Now on the left hand side here, let's go back home so it'll pop up. On the left hand side here, how can we open this? Okay, here we have play. Let's see, there we go. Analyze environments. We could have different environments. We could publish it, which means deploy. You could see right there, deploy. And here we are going to be building it, right? So there's actions. Earlier, I mentioned different ways of setting up an assistant by intents, entities, and slots. IBM has chosen to make it a little bit easier by using something called actions, which is what we're going to be going through today. And there we go. Let's create our first action. Now, there's other actions that are created by default by the assistant, or they're set up by the assistant. There's greeting the customer, There's a trigger word detected, no matches, there's fallback. So we could go through those at a later video, but today we're going to be created by us. Let's create something. We could start from scratch, and I don't want to. I want to concentrate on something of a. I want to set something up real quick because I want to do a proof of concept to my supervisor, so he or she could review, and they could be all right. Let's give you some money and start working on this. So let's start it real quick. Here we go, and let's look at something for and this particular page built at hyperspeed. I tested this earlier, and yes, you definitely can build at hyperspeed. So let's go ahead and look through um, the banking options. Check coverage policy, check policy, connect to a live agent. Sure. There was one that I saw that was really neat. Create an account. So let's go ahead and click create an account. Right. Let's close that up. Let's look at jokes, please. Why not? It's going to give us some jokes if we ask it for jokes. Store hours. Um, make a payment. There was one that I saw that was kind of fun. Book a meeting, which, you know, some of these require additional configuration. However, um, we're going to be adding some actions that allow us to create an account, to give us some jokes, to request the store hours, and to book a meeting, right? So let's add these templates or these actions right into um, our bot. Great, they've been added. Now, based on what we did here, on these 4 different actions that we created, you'll notice on the right-hand side, top right-hand side, that the system is training. What we did, we added several examples to the assistant or to the model of how to ask or how the end user will ask to create an account. And this is what's called the example account, right? So I'm going to click on, the book a meeting. How will the end user ask to book a meeting? So these are the 12 different ways that a user might ask. In for your particular community or use case, you might have different ways that people ask for to book a meeting, right? But here we have: is it possible to set a date? I want to talk in person with someone about my case. I would like to discuss my situation face to face. All this, the end result is to book a meeting. Now, the old way of doing this was called an intent. What is the intent of this phrase? Is it possible to set a date? Okay, it sounds like they want to book a meeting and they want to set a date. So the intent of this would be to create or book a meeting. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of how we used to do it the old fashioned way, but this is a lot easier. Let's go ahead and close out here. Well, before we do that, there's actually a visualization, which is really neat. If you want to see how this flows, which is something new, I actually welcome this because it's really neat. I'm a very visual person. You could also preview here, but I'm going to close out. All right. So we're pretty much done, right? Let's go ahead and click preview. How can I assist you? Let's see. Give me a joke. Why did the chatbot cross the road? I don't know. Because it was programmed to be a chicken. Now it's your turn. Ask me what's up. The URL bar. Oh, wait. That's just the chatbot thing. Sorry. These are probably worse than dad jokes, and I have plenty of dad jokes. Okay, let's go and close it. I want, and okay, let's preview some more, right? So we want to create an account, right? Let's ask it, what can you do? I have a good laugh. Here's a joke for you. Okay, start over. Will it start over? Oh, no. Let's go ahead and reset here. We can start reset the conversation. Welcome back. Let's say I need to meet someone. To set up a meeting, I'll need a few days. Okay, cool. Let's set up. Let's give it my name, last name, sure. Where would you like to meet? Adrian. Okay. How long would you like to meet for? I don't know. Just say 30 minutes. What date? Now, this is probably one thing that I don't like, and you really can't click on this and pick on your date. Or you can. Let's see. Okay, never mind. Let's pick that date and click confirm. Sure. 10 a.m. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yes, that's right. All right, good. All right. Action complete. All right, so we previewed it, but now we are want sorry, we're going to go into preview. So here we're previewing. Now, this is where we would actually go in and edit it, because if I click on find nearby locations, we haven't trained it. So it doesn't know. Example, check account balances. Nope, we also haven't trained it for that. So these were set by default, and we could edit these in our assistant, right? And here, I'm wondering, I can't click on it. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, but we can ask it to, what do we ask it? Quest store hours. Now, what are your store? I don't remember telling it when we're open. What store? Oh, okay. So I just set a few, generic items. There we go. All right. So we could go in there and actually edit these. And I could show you where we could edit these right now. Let's go ahead and restart that. Now on the left-hand side, you'll notice we have a few other items: publish, environments, analyze. So I'm I'm okay with publishing this, and it's going to publish all these. Why not? Again, Game Assistant with jokes, hours, jokes, hours, book a meeting, open an account. Okay, so why did I do that? Um, because you potentially could have an assistant with 5, 6, 7 actions. But let's suppose it goes live, and you can set up another environment where you have the exact same 6, 7 actions, but you want to add an additional action to your assistant. But you're not ready to go live. You're not ready to publish it. So don't. So here's where you would set it up: create a version without publishing, or live. I want to go live. Version 1, the day we went live. Now, interesting here, we could always download our assistant and save it. So if you royally mess it up, you could always upload a fresh version of it too. Or you could do the version control that we have here within our the product to actually version control here. All right. So it's actually published. We have nothing unpublished. Let's go to our environments. We have, and I'm not sure we have something in draft here, but we do have this in our live environment here, our settings. So here we have our settings. Okay. Every once in a while, we'll be asked for our environment IDs or a session URL. So this is actually what we could come in here and find that information. Again, I don't need to worry too much about that. I'm going to be closing this out. On the left-hand side, we also have analyze. We have run nothing on here yet. So there's nothing to analyze. But down on the bottom left, there is assistant settings. We went through these a bit earlier, right? Okay, download, upload. The API details, which we have here. Activity log, you don't have any activity. Um, you don't have access to the activity log. Okay, this particular plan, the light plan, does not save, or you don't have access to the logs. If you were to upgrade to the plus plan, you do have access to the logs. So there's a lot of fun things you could do with the logs too. You could download and actually upload to to analyze it, right? To track it. If you're creating a dashboard, you could create a dashboard with the logs and see which um, which calls are being completed of the conversations. Um, um, how are they moving forward through the assistant? How many are recognized? How many are not? Most frequent actions. You could find all this, and you could actually show all this in a dashboard, which is really neat. Maybe we could show that to you all one of these days. Um, Integrations. Now, a web chat. This is ready to go. Now, the phone, this is really neat. And we don't have time to show this to you. Perhaps I'll keep this assistant and I'll show you in or maybe I'll build another one. But you could spin up a phone assistant to answer your calls and do exactly the same thing that your actions here are doing, but over the phone. You could change the voices. Well, we won't go into it, but know that that's available. Of course, you could integrate it with some channels that we talked through, SMS, Slack, Messenger, but there's also the Genesis. There's a WhatsApp. I mentioned that to you through Twilio. There's Search, there's Segment, and these few other ones that we have here. Enterprise Ready AI, which is watsonx.ai, which is really neat. I touched on that a bit earlier. If you want your assistant to have generative AI capabilities, you can. Let's click on that. It takes a bit to get it going, but you can. It's not super difficult to get it going. It takes maybe another 10, 12 minutes. Zendesk, okay? And Spotify. Oh, this is really neat. This is new. I haven't seen this too. Okay. So let me go back to our Watson Assistant home. And so here we created our first action, but there's other things we could do, right? So let's go ahead and go into the actions here. All right. So let's preview this. Let's see if I can copy the link here. Copy the link. So once you copy the link, you can actually forward it to a um, customer. You could forward it to a supervisor or your manager that needs to view this before you move forward with it. And where is the assistant? So initially, it's down here. So this is an actual live page that's available. Tell me a joke. Huh. Why? It has the same corny jokes. Silly. Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick overview of this Watson Assistant service available from IBM. And I hope you gather some insights. Feel free to reach out in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I believe I'll spin up another one. So the next assistant, we could go into how to connect this with a voice agent, right? And then perhaps transfer it over. So look out for that video coming out maybe in the next couple of weeks or so. Nothing too rushed here. But again, thank you and have a great one.